All right.
All right, guys. It's Glenn from Chocotastery here. This is for our live tasting for the Stay Home with Chocolate Festival. We're joined by that way with
Andres
Andres.
from the Fine Chocolate Club.
Andres, yeah, there you go. He's the guy behind the Fine Chocolate Club. In just a moment, he will share a little bit about the club and all the great benefits of, getting 5 bars of chocolate sent to you every month. And then we also have one of our subscribers, Duncan, who we met out in San Francisco a couple of weeks ago at the Craft Chocolate Experience. So he's joined for the monthly tasting. And so it's going to be a little bit intimate. There's no one else that's shown up. But I think it's going to be a great time. And hopefully anybody who was watching this afterwards, we're sorry that it's not live, but you will have this video by this time that you're watching this. So Andres, tell me and Duncan a little bit, and all of us, a little bit about, what drew you to forming the Fine Chocolate Club years ago.
Yeah, so obviously my passion for chocolate and cacao. I come from a family of cacao farmers since 200 years ago. We are creating a sales channel in order to sell chocolates that we're going to be producing for farmers. So we will be bringing their cacao beans and working with stylish craft chocolate makers in producing those bars and in sending them to the subscribers. In the meantime, we're working with the best chocolate makers from around the world, and we're also very open to new craft chocolate makers. So, welcome.
Thank you. And Duncan, welcome to the tasting.
Thank you.
So where are you coming in from? So where are you logging in from?
From San Francisco right now. So, only like a mile away from where the Craft Chocolate Experience was held, where I met you two.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been making, like 2-kilogram batches at home for the past like year and a half or so. Just after, really being a chocolate fan who wanted to learn more about the process and the flavors and everything. So this felt like a nice way to both, improve my palate and tasting, accuracy, as well as just enjoy, makers that I haven't heard of or been exposed to, and doing that with some more people in a nice kind of setting. So, yeah.
That's great. I know. I remember having that conversation with you, and your eyes lit up when you were like, "Yeah, I'm making chocolate too. This is awesome." And it was like it was really cool. Obviously conversation. That you've been in your kitchen. That's where a lot of us have started. I've started there too when I made my own chocolate years ago. But yeah, so we do have 3 bars that you received. That the subscribers received a part of a promo deal back in a couple weeks ago in March. Yeah, there you go. You're my guy. You have the best lighting right now.
Bay window here.
Nice. So I think the first one we have the Dick Taylor Belize. The 72%, the first one. And then we have the letterpress 70% from Costa Esmeraldas. And then somebody hold up the Madagascar from White Label, because I don't have that one with me. There you go. The nice luxury package there. All right, so everybody who signed up for the deal also gets our Chocotastery chocolate tasting guide, which gives everybody 4 easy steps to follow along to mindfully taste chocolate, to taste every single step is kind of a meaningful part of the process. And so everybody anybody that just subscribes going forward will get these in the mail, this tasting guide and a tasting sheet, so that you can keep notes on what you're tasting. And so when we go taste through this, we'll follow along these 4 steps, checking the color, the shade of brown based on variety and the type of origin. And then the snap is significant of how well tempered the chocolate is how the cocoa butter fat crystals are aligned. And then obviously smelling, tasting, detecting the aromas, and then tasting and what flavors do we taste. We have some suggestions down here. So this is just a useful tool to get you on that journey. And then we could talk about what's your favorite one and like what memories it evokes for you along the way.
Thanks.
So let's start the first one. And so, Andres, what do you like most about working with Dick Taylor?
Well, just that they're amazing. They put so much effort and detail into what they're doing that their product is great.
So you could see, and I'll ask you or Duncan to hold it up. I can't, my lighting isn't that great, but there is a really nice design on their bars.
Yeah, it's very detailed. I mean, it's just looking at it, it's nice to not see, air bubbles, considering how, or just like a couple, considering how detailed this mold is.
Yeah. And as far as the color scheme goes for it, I think it's not super dark, but I think it's like medium dark. And then what we'll do is we'll break it. Ready? Did you hear that?
That was a great temper.
Yeah.
I heard it in stereo.
Yeah, that's cool. So Andres, are you tasting along with us?
Yeah, one of the cool things that I like about Dick Taylor is their story. Dick Taylor, you'll see how boats are in their packaging, and it's because they also build boats. So that's one of the details I was referring to.
Nice. All right, so let's taste.
I forgot to do the smell test before just immediately putting it in my mouth. But.
Duncan, do you want to have your other guest there want to join in on this?
Oh, just want to stay off camera for now, if that's all right.
No problem.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. But she's tasting along with you, right?
Yeah, I think she will. But yeah, I wasn't sure if I still had the tasting guide and stuff, so she was kind enough to find it so I can take notes the correct way.
Yeah. So what were you tasting along with the like obviously you didn't get to the aromas, but what were you tasting along the journey?
I mean, I feel like it's such an initial like fudginess and this like that deeper kind of flavor. Like I'm not really getting a lot of the bright and fruity notes, especially. I mean, I have I feel like I've tasted more Maya Mountain Belize than Toledo Belize, and this particular Toledo feels like I don't know if it's I'm not going to look at the tasting notes just to not, but it does feel like it's really, darker and richer impact than I expected. But it's like, it's nice. You don't need a lot of it. Like, this is a nice kind of nibbling bar that's like a really quintessential chocolate, I feel like.
Nice. And Andres, what are you tasting in this?
Well, first of all, just the fudginess is delicious. I think the chocolate just melts in your mouth by itself, which is a great symptom. And then, well, obviously, you can feel the fruits on it very quickly.
Yeah, I get like the tart, like acidity. I think it's like a cherry almost. Tart cherries.
I feel like it's hard to share tasting notes without like immediately seeding ideas into each other. But as you're saying that, I feel like it kind of finishes with some of those notes. I don't know if I would say that it's like sour without being bright, but there's just like a little bit of that hint of that kind of like tartness that comes across subtly.
Yeah, the ending is like really pronounced because there's like there's so much fruit going on, but at the end it's like like it was there, like yeah. So overall, what was your take on it? Either of you could share, and then I'll share.
Yeah, I mean, very very good. Like this is definitely one of the nicer single origin bars that I had recently. Because I do feel like it has that nice balance of that initial impact. I mean, after having not had any other chocolate or anything to compare against it, this just comes across as very strong, rich chocolate. But the more that I'm having it, the more some of those fruity flavors come out. So I appreciate that it's well balanced, and so it's like a versatile kind of tasting bar.
Cool, awesome. Andres, what's your overall take on the Belize?
Well, my overall take is that it's probably one of the best bars in the United States that it's being produced right now. Not to say less of it. It's one of their best sellers, and it's been there for a long time. Maya Mountain also does a great job with the cacao beans. So in that sense, I think the quality is guaranteed.
Nice. All right. I think, for me, I think it's an overall, I just love the, the fruity components that come with a Maya Mountain cacao. It's just like, it's going to be fruity, and it's just that like nice, like the way that between the mold, the whole experience of Dick Taylor chocolate, it just is a really go-to bar for like being a Belize. You wanting a Belize, that's one of your top ones that you go to, and it's aesthetically pleasing to the eye. Awesome. All right. Well, I think the next one we can go to is the letterpress, the Ecuador. And so, fun fact, today is Letterpress's 6th anniversary being in business. So I'm actually going to be going live with them at 9 o'clock tonight, my time. So in about, it's 2:30 your time or so. So 9, 8, 7, 6 p.m. your time. So we're going to taste 4 of their bars. So we're going to be live on Instagram if you want to check that out. But yeah, so this is Costa Esmeraldas. So Andres, I think, if you want to just share a little bit around letterpress and, why did you choose this bar for the month?
Well, first of all, David, it's a good friend of ours, and we know how much attention he pays to the beans that he buys and he works with. We also know how much he pays to the farmers, which is much more than what average chocolate makers would pay. And in that sense, what you're getting again is the highest quality. So yeah, that's why. Also, Costa Esmeraldas is a very flavorful cacao bean, and one of the biggest producing regions in Ecuador. So yeah, again, also the farm. It's a farm where an American couple moved to Ecuador, and they have a very sophisticated farm with a ton of technology, and chocolate makers can check the whole process of the fermentation and post-harvest of the cacao beans. So in that sense, well, everything is amazing again on this bar.
Have you visited them? Are they just like open whenever, or?
Letterpress?
Where in Ecuador at Costa Esmeraldas?
The farm?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Is it open for visits, Glenn?
I
we
think
can
you
find
could,
out.
if you could probably, yeah, we could probably find out. But we know the guy whose family owns it. So if you want to do like a private tour, I'm sure that people go there all the time. Chocolate makers and other guests. I'm really sure that they would, if you wanted to go down there to check out their farm, that they could, host you.
Nice.
It would be a fantastic trip to go down there. Actually,
Yeah,
I've seen videos. It's really cool.
Seems like they're really nice.
And Letterpress also has an amazing new store in LA. So for those of you who are in LA, you should definitely check them out.
Yes, I was there in November, right before Northwest Chocolate Festival in Seattle. I went down through California, and I mean, they have a really nice spot. But I know that you guys have the newer version with the newer mold. So Duncan, if you want to hold that up.
Yeah. I already started to break it because I was so excited, but
it's cool. Yeah, so it's their logo, their letterpress logo. I have the older version, the where it's the older mold. Yeah. So their mold was just normal break off pieces.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of interesting from a tasting perspective. The little pieces are easy to break off on the older mold for convenience, but this one is just so like it's so unique and so detailed because of how shallow the different impressions are, that it feels like it's they're definitely setting themselves apart, even if it's a little bit harder to break apart.
Yeah,
I'm sure once we won't want to break small pieces. So.
I have a bar, one of their other bars that I haven't even opened up yet because I don't want to like break the mold.
Yeah,
it's so nice. It's so pretty. It's just as intricate as the Dick Taylor one, but I mean that's like the precision and the skill and the artisan, the craftsmanship. It's all coming together. Like
the art deck art style, which is nice. Like it's really cool that they can capture that in the mold.
Yeah.
I have a so you mentioned
like,
for preparing for the tasting, like I have some just like regular crackers or something like that between as like a palate cleanser. Is that something?
Yeah, I do have one of these.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I have the same.
Andres.
Me too. I don't have the package here.
Let's do it.
1 second.
Cheers. And for everybody who's watching, this is nice. So we have crackers to soak up some of the cocoa butter fats that are in your mouth from the prior chocolate bar. This way, you don't have the residual tasting of the chocolate in your mouth when you test the next one. So that's the reason why. And then obviously room temperature water is also key. You don't want it to be too cold or too hot.
Oh, I have another question. How did you decide which of these bars to present during this tasting, especially since they're from 3 different origins?
So this was, I think, what we, Andres and I, we curated the 3 bars. So that was just the 3 bars that we wanted. Like, it's the month's bars. So this is what we're gonna taste for the tasting.
We also prepared this box for the event,
Right.
for the craft chocolate experience. And since it was happening here in California, we focused in Californian chocolate makers.
I see.
So the 3 of them are from LA, Santa Cruz, and Eureka,
That's cool.
3 different parts of the state. We also consider them probably the best in the state.
Sure.
So yeah, just that, and the origins, and how different they were, and different regions as well. So yeah, it had a little bit of everything to talk about.
Yeah.
Yep. So just in comparing bars now, you could see mine is in best lighting, like I said, but you could see how the Esmeralda's bar is so much more darker than the Dick Taylor bar from Belize. The sound, I just broke it in 3, but it's a pretty nice sounding bar.
There's really not a whole lot of aroma compared to the Dick Taylor one, it seems like, but.
Yeah, I was getting a lot of just chocolatey note in that aroma. Another tip for those at home is, when you're letting it melt on your mouth, you want to just slightly open your mouth so that it aerates a little bit, so that as we aerate wine when we drink it, whether pouring it into a glass, we're aerating it, or swishing it around, we're bringing out all the flavors and aromas of it. So same thing with when you take in air into your mouth, the aromas will flow up to like your brain. Basically, there's a lot more science to it, but the gist of it is, the more aerating we do with our mouth and the flavors, we'll then realize, okay, there's this flavor note or this flavor note. What is it? So that's kind of like how it all works together. So yeah. So what were you guys getting with that? Like, what were you tasting?
I mean, like a light kind of toastiness. And I mean, also this like a slight nuttiness as well. It's very different from the Dick Taylor, which I don't know why I wasn't expecting that, but it is. Maybe a little bit of vegetal, but still like in a good way. I had some, like, it's nice that I've had a couple different extremes. I had one from, I had a different bar from Costa Rica that is just like as vegetal and roasty as it could possibly be. And so this one feels like slightly in that direction, but in a good way. And I'm not sure where that comes from or why that is, but I do appreciate that. And it feels like a really unique taste here.
Yeah. Andres, what are your opinions on the bar? What you tasted?
Well, again, I feel a lot of fruitiness here. It's also typical of the region of Esmeraldas. Um, so, yeah, also very flavorful. Um, I like how you can, again, dissolve it very easily. Um, and this one you can definitely feel a different smoothness than
Mm.
on the Belize bar.
Yeah. So this has a little bit added cocoa butter.
Yeah.
So that's a good point to make that Dick Taylor, they don't add additional cocoa butter to their chocolate bars. We see with letterpress that, you know, it's a little bit more fattier and more fluid in
Mhm.
melting. And so with this, I also, you know, take on um, the same type of experience with, as Duncan was saying, where you get that like nutty notes. It's like a whole nuttiness to it, and then you have like this fruity floral notes at the end that like come through as like the, like Andre said, like that typical Ecuadorian flavor profile. That's like kind of like the generalization that like that Ecuador cacao, it does hold like a major prominent, you know, floral note, or, you know, kind of along those lines, um, a part of their cacao, but depends on the region in Ecuador as well.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny what you say because actually Esmeraldas, it's pretty close to Manaví, and Manaví is characteristic by its nutty flavors.
Mm,
So it's interesting how they both mix in this chocolate.
nice. Yeah. Awesome. All right. So I think it's on to the third one, um, which I don't have. So you guys are going to have to. You guys have to share the limelight here.
Packaging ones.
So so that's the white label bar. And Andres, what's your experience been with white label chocolate and this
Well,
bar in
it's so
particular?
delicious that Glenn just couldn't hold to it, and
Eating it all.
but it happens. It happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes I open one of these bars, and it just takes a few
Yeah.
minutes to
Done.
finish it.
Everything.
It's so
Yep.
delicious that, well, it's sometimes impossible.
Yep.
Unique
So
packaging too. I feel like I haven't seen this style.
yeah, show it up to the camera and
Yeah,
see.
it's. I mean, this is the original, and it kind of, you know, perforated, opens up.
Yep.
It's a pocket with this kind of dual-lined, you know, paper that is pretty simply folded. Like it's, you know, white label, and it seems like their minimalism is part of their brand. So it's kind of an interesting take on that as well. But I'm
Yeah.
also like, now my mind is all on different packaging, and it's kind of nice that each of these three are different styles of that. But I'm also not sure, like, all right, which of these are recyclable, which are compostable, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's not,
it's a major point to make about the packaging and how eco-friendly it is, and I think everybody tries to do their part in that.
but it's
Yeah.
also nice to stand out, and it's
Yeah.
a big, you know,
Mm-hmm.
no one will eat it if you have the, you know, if it's only, you know, friendly, but it doesn't look like it's an interesting product. So it's a hard balance to strike, I can imagine.
Yeah, yeah, and one thing I really like about white labels bars that you can see is the sheen on the bar. It's kind of like textured, and then right where their logo is, it's kind of like imprinted in. Yeah, like that just is like really. It's, I mean, it's one of my favorite molds. Like
Yeah.
outside of like letterpresses and Dick Taylor's, like those are three like major designs that I just like thoroughly could just like look at the chocolate for like a good minute and be like, this is really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
but I'm gonna eat it now and I'm gonna enjoy it
Yeah,
because
it's interesting as well because you can kind of tell from the back of the bar more so than the other two. It's a really strong patterns from the depositor, like a six,
yeah.
like a by three kind of depositor thing.
Yeah.
Which is you know, it's interesting to kind of see that. What that doesn't mean necessarily anything for the flavor, but
Yeah. Nope. It's yeah.
And again, the beans, these are Agason Madagascar beans, also super high quality, single state. And as you may have seen, we have also been focusing on really good beans on the 3 chocolates. And that is why sometimes you simply have to pay more for this product because you know what you're getting here.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and it's nice that they have all those details on the back of the package. I mean, I feel like not every maker has that intimate understanding or the ability to share that information, so that's nice.
Yeah, and the chocolate makers are putting a lot of effort in these relationships, and they do a great job in that sense. So this is a job that requires a lot of detail again, and a lot of effort, a lot of manual effort, and that of course adds value to the product. You can just feel it.
Yep. I'm so jealous right now. So what are you smelling and tasting?
I mean, the most fruit by far. The citrusy kind of flavors I feel like come across really well. It sounded like it was tempered as well as the others, but it didn't have as much of the crisp kind of bite as the others. And it didn't melt as easily either. It feels like it's a little bit more grainy, but not in necessarily a bad way, just in comparison.
Mm. Yeah, and so I remember when I was eating all of it at the festival, it's not typically like other Madagascars from that same Atkinson estate.
Mm-hmm.
So they took on mellowing out the I guess the very high acidity of the fruit notes that you get. So it's not like in your face fruity, but like it's a very mellowed fruity that you could still enjoy it and not be overwhelmed by it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not overwhelming. My guest was saying kumquat and pez. It's like another kind of detail and roastiness.
Wow, nice. Yeah, and what's really nice is, when we taste chocolate, it's reminiscent of the type of foods that we are normally eating, and what stirs up a memory in our heads. It's all about what we've tasted in our lifetime. So for me, like I don't think I've ever had kumquats, but it's cool that like you could be like, hey, that's a kumquat. Yeah.
And so much of the tasting and the aromas are all associative. It's such a strong memory that there's kind of no other way to categorize it except by that memory association.
That's cool. That's
right.
Cool.
And also this is a plantation that it's at sea level and close to the sea, and in that sense, there are some citrical flavors on it that are very interesting.
Nice. So what are the fruit flavors what are the flavors you're actually getting with it?
You refer with the citrus, or I feel some raspberry, and I haven't identified the citrus yet. I believe it's kind of like an orange, uh, lemon, probably both.
Nice. Yeah. How about you, Duncan?
It feels like it's like on the zest kind of side as well. I think some of that bitterness maybe is kind of, it feels like it represents itself that way, Brett, compared to like the full, like a punch of like a, you know, biting into a lemon or something like that. It's got like a more nuanced kind of citrus, I think, which is nice.
Nice.
You know, it feels like it starts off with some of the brighter flavors, and kind of in the middle, it has just a really, you know, like a nice rich depth to it. You know, some of that fuzziness comes through well.
Oh, nice.
And then after a few seconds, kind of the citrus comes back, I feel like, at least for me. So again, I would say that this feels like a really well balanced bar as well.
Nice. Awesome. So out of all three of these bars, you know, what was like your, I guess, what was your favorite bar out of all three? If you had to like, if you had to take like a chocolate gun that we're eating and put it to your head, like, and you only had one bar left to take with you uh, to survive this apocalypse, you know, what bar would you take with you?
I mean, I would say at the moment, recency bias, the white label feels like it's really nice and it's a bit unique. I feel like the letterpress is the most unique, and the Dick Taylor feels like the most versatile and the one that I would most often go for. So I think I would say probably overall the Dick Taylor.
Nice.
Just regardless of what kind of mood I'm in, I feel like that one will always taste very good.
Yeah. And so, and I think, Andres, I want to hear your take too. Like, if you, out of all three, what's your favorite of all three?
Well, the good thing is that you don't have to choose, because you would be getting 5 different chocolates every month. So when you subscribe, you're getting 5 chocolates of this style. Let's say we work with chocolate makers that pay a lot of attention to their beans again. So yeah, you can rest assured that you're going to get high quality products, because we pay a lot of attention, Glenn and I, with whom we work and with whom we want to work as well. So that's one of the good things.
Awesome. Yep. And so for me, I think while I appreciate the Belize because it's nostalgic for me, it's one of the first beans I worked with as a chocolate maker years ago. I still like the letterpress Ecuador. It's just kind of like that go-to Ecuador that's like nutty and floral, and you just, you know, it's really nice and mouthfeel is good, and it's just, you know, it's really homey for me.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
guess choice as well as the letterpress, and I do really enjoy it.
Yeah. Awesome. Great. So for everybody who's watching outside of, you know, our triumvirate here, Andres, would you be able to share how people could sign up for the Fine Chocolate Club to get your future box of 5 bars?
Yeah, so just go to finechocolateclub.com and join now. And it's very easy actually. If you want to cancel, you can cancel anytime by emailing us. We do require that the cancellations happen before the 12th of each month, just because of internal processes, but you can cancel anytime. And you can also email us to pause your subscription. We prefer very direct communication. So in that sense, yeah, please feel free to email whatever question you have to info@finechocolateclub.com.
Awesome. And so when do you normally have these shipped out to future subscribers?
So on the 27th of each month, we are shipping the boxes. So the subscribers should be getting it at the beginning of each month. And well, then comes the online tasting session for that box, which is basically what we're doing here, but with 5 chocolates instead of 3.
Yep. Yep. And then you'll get the tasting guide and the tasting sheet as well. So you guys could follow along at home. And what Andres and I have been working on, throwing out ideas to make this a lot more interactive and fun for you guys. So we have some really cool ideas that we'll be, working on in the future. So like exclusive things for you guys. So your experience with the Fine Chocolate Club, working together with him, it provides you some type of, super culinary experience and to taste the chocolate that so many fine chocolate makers have crafted over the months and years. Yeah, I think if you don't have any other further comments, I think I want to just thank all of you for joining us today, for being a part of this experience, for being a part of the Stay Home with Chocolate Festival. I think it's a great time, to just be supportive of all of the craft chocolate makers. And what Andres and I do is we showcase those makers that mean so much to the industry, to the world, to the farmers. They all have their stories. They all have their own struggles with this time frame now that we're all impacted by. And I think it's just a really cool opportunity, to share our passion with all of you. So if you guys want to say any other last words, I mean.
Yeah, I would thank especially Duncan for being here, and I'm definitely surprised of how much you know about chocolate. So really cool to have you here. I think we're gonna have to make him a permanent invitee here.
Nice.
Really
fun.
cool sharing with you. So really fun. I don't know if you have any questions for us, but it's actually a pleasure.
No, thank you. And yeah, it is a pleasure. I haven't had these particular bars, and it's always nice to get someone's take on what a good selection is, let alone what individually good bars are. So it's always nice to kind of expand the palette. So I really appreciate your curation here, and it's always
Awesome.
helpful to taste them in the framework of other people kind of comparing those notes. Otherwise, it's easy to kind of get lost in your own tasting associations. So
awesome.
Nice.
Great to hear. So thank you so much, all of you, for joining, and we'll throw this video up on our YouTube channel and share it along. And yeah, until next month.
Thanks.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Bye.